Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, follow, share, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. One question that I frequently receive, and that pops up regularly in author forums, asks what else can be used to market one's self-published books other than social media. This question is posed by both those who have had their books on the market for a while and those who are just starting out. For the veterans, the question stems from their frustration with getting low book sales. For the newbies, it's asked because they really are just overwhelmed and are afraid of the marketing task ahead of them. So let's look at book marketing without social media, and if it's even possible. In venting her frustration with low book sales, one of my lovely author friends asked me how self-published authors marketed their books in the before time, meaning before social media. She wondered if she was just overlooking some older book marketing methods that can still work. Doing events and trade shows had been good for her books, but the pandemic had wiped out that channel either temporarily or for the long term. Her forays into marketing on social media weren't producing what she had hoped. So now what? Actually, I had done a bit of self-publishing in the before time. It was mainly multimedia and educational products that I used in conjunction with my teaching and advertising careers. I didn't have to do a lot of marketing since they mostly had a built-in audience with my current students and client base. The one product that could be classified as true self-publishing was a sales letter writing resource on CD. Yes, CD. It was the late 1990s and early 2000s. The CD was packaged with a quick printed, spiral comb bound printed guide because I could do that on an on-demand basis. When I was doing the CD product, it was also the before time for Amazon. Amazon had just launched in 1994. Even CreateSpace had just been launched in 2000 and then would be bought eventually in 2005 by Amazon. The Kindle didn't launch until 2007. WordPress launched in 2003. YouTube didn't launch until 2005. So my marketing and self-publishing options were kind of limited. I did advertise that CD in the trade newspaper I repped. The ad space was part of my compensation package. Most self-published authors, even now, don't have that privilege. I did some advertising in other trade magazines, sometimes as a trade out, sometimes paid, but print advertising was really my only option for reaching this particular audience. If I would have had to pay full price for this advertising, I would have sustained a huge loss. Plus, I had to manufacture each CD as I got an order, and I had costs there too. Events and trade shows were also part of my CD marketing efforts, but those produced few leads and sales because I wasn't allowed to actually sell the product on the show floor. But for consumer shows, as my author friend used, sales are usually allowed on the show floor. Paid print advertising, events and shows, and direct mail were about the extent of what most self-published authors could use for marketing back then, and it would be expensive. Email marketing was around, but it was still developing. I didn't use it for book products, mainly my advertising business. I started email marketing in earnest around 2005, and it was great in the early years. So can these older, non-social media marketing methods work now? They can, but maybe not like they used to. And are there any other non-social media marketing tools that work? There's nothing like meeting your target market in person, as my author friend's story illustrates. And authors who had public speaking skill could sell their books at the back of the room at speaking events, whether they hosted the events themselves or they were sponsored. Unfortunately, the pandemic all but eliminated these channels, And as the pandemic subsides and economies and travel return, authors can still consider events and shows to market their books. But even if in-person marketing does return, these are still some of the most expensive marketing efforts because they involve travel, exhibiting expenses, and your personal time. Even worse is that authors may end up spending more dollars to promote their participation at these events, in essence, paying to market a marketing event. Is going virtual for events the answer? Yes and no. Virtual book tours via Zoom and other video conferencing tools have now cemented their place as a norm throughout the pandemic, even for big traditional publishers. The upside is that they can be recorded and offered on replay. The downside is that it's virtual and doesn't have the same energy and vibe that in-person events do. And as with physical events, you will have the challenge of marketing the marketing, which would involve either advertising or social media efforts. Most of the self-published book marketing advice I see centers around email marketing. In fact, most small business marketing advice does too. The reasoning behind this is that you own the audience. I beg to differ on that, but in theory, it makes sense since your ability to reach your target audience isn't subject to the whims of social media algorithms. However, that doesn't mean it's bulletproof or that it will always be a successful marketing method. I'm reminded of a story that superstar entrepreneur Gary Vaynerchuk tells about marketing his family's wine business in the 1990s. He was quick to jump on the email marketing train and got email open rates in the neighborhood of 90% or so back then, just something crazy. Today, if you can sustain a 20 to 25% open rate, you're doing good. And as Gary also emphasizes, marketing methods will eventually go away, meaning that they'll become more expensive and less effective. So what's the state of email marketing now? I'm turning to MailChimp's published benchmark stats since that's a popular email marketing service for small business. MailChimp sends billions of emails per month. The following October 2019 stats are only for those lists that have 1,000 or more subscribers. Some authors might have that subscription level, but I'm guessing more don't. However, this is a good proxy for what you might experience. Average open rate for all industries analyzed is 21.33%. The average click-through rate for all industries analyzed is 2.62%. For media and publishing, the average open rate is 22.15%, and for click-through rate for media and publishing, it's 4.62%. I should note that click-through rate is the percentage of successfully delivered emails that got at least one click. While publishing and media's open and click-through rates are higher than the overall average, it's still a small segment of your entire email audience. You have to remember too that not all opens and clicks result in sales. But open rates mean nothing unless you can get people to opt in to your email list. Most opt-in stats I've seen over the years hover in the low single-digit percentages of web traffic that sees your offer page for opting in. According to Sumo, an email marketing company that analyzed over 3.2 billion views of their email capture pages, the average email opt-in rate is 1.95%. I personally have a 1% rule for achieving anything online, so I'm not too far off. Fact is that people to opt in to your email list don't magically appear, and you just can't add people to your list without their permission due to CAN spam and GDPR privacy and data collection regulations in both the United States and European Union. You have to drive traffic to your offer page for the opt-in and hope they subscribe. I had to laugh when one of these email marketing experts had a promotional webinar where she bragged about how one of her clients or students went from having only 2 subscribers up to maybe 2,000 after taking the offered program. Of course, I'm curious how that happened, but another webinar participant beat me to it and asked what other things you would have to buy in addition to this expensive program to achieve these results. What was the answer? Facebook ads. In my experience with Facebook advertising and advertising elsewhere online, that could be hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars to achieve that kind of result. I've kind of gone far afield on the email topic, and you see it ended up with the prospect of advertising on social media. The mythical reader magnet. I've ranted on the challenges of reader magnets before. In case you're unfamiliar with the term, a reader magnet is a giveaway of a chapter or even a whole book as an incentive to get the potential reader to sign up for your email list. The hope is that these email subscribers will eventually buy the whole book or a book in the future. Many authors use services such as BookFunnel or Story Origin to facilitate getting people on the list and delivering the giveaway. Some services are free, others have fees. There is nothing wrong with these services. They provide a valuable service for authors in delivering their reader magnet offer and giveaways and compiling their email lists. But currently, BookFunnel states on their website, quote, "You found the readers. Let BookFunnel handle the ebook delivery." What about "you found the readers" tells you that they are going to find readers for you? They don't. This is the biggest problem I have with the self-published authors who get sucked into the reader magnet myth. It takes a huge amount of effort and usually money to drive enough web traffic to your reader magnet offer. And as discussed earlier, the opt-in rate can be pathetically low. Plus, readers can use Look Inside or get a free Kindle sample on Amazon before buying any book. Even BookFunnel offers the option for authors to offer their book to download for free without signing up. These defeat the purpose of the reader magnet, which is to get people on your email list. While a reader magnet is also not social media, it may take social media advertising to get people to see your reader magnet offer. Are you seeing a continuing theme here? A newsletter swap is where you send a promo email about a fellow author's book to your list, and your fellow author friend does the same to their list about your book. A newsletter swap is not, repeat, not, a sharing of your email newsletter list. Never, ever. Unless you have specific permission from your email subscribers to share their addresses and personal information with third parties, sharing would violate the law. As with bartering for anything, newsletter swaps only work when both parties have something of equal value to exchange. If I have 10,000 subscribers on my email newsletter list and you have only 100, I don't really get much from doing a newsletter swap with you, but you get a great benefit. Of course, if you have a list of 100 high quality, almost guaranteed to buy email subscribers, I might consider it. In theory, though, this can be a great low-cost way to reach readers without social media if the audiences for both authors' books are similar. For those who don't use it, Goodreads is a social network for book readers where they can post reviews and discuss books. Goodreads is also part of the Amazonverse and integrates with Amazon. There are programs that help authors distribute free copies of their books to potential reviewers, but those programs are paid. Authors I have talked to about using Goodreads for the free book distribution program have mixed emotions about it. Some are in love with it, others feel they wasted their money. It's also my observation that it's a better fit for fiction than nonfiction. I've had my books listed on Goodreads since, I don't know, 2011, with very little action. But then I'm a nonfiction author, and I haven't deemed it worthy of my time and monetary investment. However, because of its integration with the Amazon megaverse, Amazon reviews show up on Goodreads. It's worth at least having your profile there and listing your books. Print, TV, radio, and other mass media advertising is out of the reach of most self-published authors. Same for postal direct mail, which also has the same challenges with collecting personal information as email. These days, advertising on social media is the most affordable venue for self-published authors. Does social media advertising work? In my experience, it can work to draw people to look at your email opt-in offer or other things that you're promoting, but to directly sell books, no. The problem with social media advertising for books is that Amazon does not allow a Facebook or other tracking pixel on your book's product page. So you won't really know if your book sales are coming from the ads or some other marketing efforts. I've talked about Amazon Marketing Services, AMS advertising, in more depth before, but to summarize here, Amazon advertising used to be a good non-social media marketing channel that put your books in front of potential readers who are already in a buying mode on Amazon. Lately, my ROI has been dropping due to increasing competition in both book titles being advertised and limited advertising space. Experimentation and constant monitoring of ad campaigns on Amazon is necessary to avoid runaway costs that don't result in sales. Around the 2010s, content marketing was touted as the way to get people to opt in to email lists and build a following. While blogs, podcasts, and YouTube videos could and should be part of a self-published author's marketing toolbox, the competition for reader attention has also escalated from everywhere, including social media, streaming services, gaming, and apps. But as non-social media content has exploded, so has competition, making it a less effective tactic. Today's conservative estimates are that at least 500 million blogs exist, closer to 1 billion if you add in those on Tumblr. Also, according to Statista, 500 hours of video is uploaded to YouTube every minute. Again, it may take advertising to market your content to get views and clicks. To break through the ever-increasing number of blogs, podcasts, videos, and emails usually requires some sort of paid advertising. Events and shows have always had hard dollar costs to help drive traffic to them. All of these are examples of marketing the marketing. In other words, paying to get your ads and content seen and your book sold without relying on organic social media. If you want to learn more about how to forecast your self-publishing book sales, I would suggest you check out my Udemy course, How to Sell Your Self-Published Book on Amazon. There's all kinds of spreadsheets and other tools to help you figure that all out. I hope you found all of this helpful, and if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast platform you like to use. I'm on all the major ones: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean. Pick your favorite, I'm probably there. If you like the YouTube video better, all you have to do is subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share the podcast or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books are available on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is type in my name, Heidi Thorne, and my author page will come up with a list of all available titles. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com, and I'm most active on the social channels of Instagram and TikTok at Heidi Thorne. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.